Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. I'm Taquin. So today we're going through a very juicy community update that 343 posted that has answers to a lot of the burning questions that we have been asking. Before we start, though, I really quickly want to mention a majority of you guys watching these videos aren't actually subscribed, which is always crazy. But if you're new to the channel and you're enjoying the content, it would mean a lot if you subscribed and maybe hit the bell if you're really enjoying it. All right, let's get started. Before I get into the update, I want to address something that leaked on Twitter. Apparently, an Irish retailer leaked an image of Halo Infinite with a field of text below it that has some interesting information here. It says, "The legendary Halo series returns with the most expansive Master Chief campaign yet and a groundbreaking free-to-play multiplayer experience." Hold up! Literally as I'm editing this, Halo just tweeted and confirmed that Halo Infinite will have 120 FPS and free-to-play multiplayer. Wow! So keep in mind, I just learned this, and that the rest of this video, I'm under the assumption that it's still a rumor, not confirmed. The words free-to-play jump out at me violently. If this is true, and Halo Infinite is going free-to-play for multiplayer, that is insane. I really, really hope this is true. There's a lot of nuanced arguments against this and for it. I'm not going to get into that all right now, but I will say my base opinion here, I think that would be good for the game. It would really thrust it back into the mainstream. You know, it's not like needed, but it's going to really help. I can't tell you how many games I have played because they are free to play now for the multiplayer that I just straight up wouldn't have enjoyed or even tried before. It's a great way to get more people into the Halo universe, and I think it's just an overall really, really solid decision. How we're going to see a monetization model to follow with that, not really sure, but assuming this is real, it's really exciting. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about this. A free-to-play Halo Infinite multiplayer. God, that is exciting. All right, let's hop into the update. So this community update is by Unishek, and we start off addressing general questions about the graphics. So the community update starts by him saying, "Shortly after the demo aired, I took to Twitter, scoured Reddit, and checked our forums for common questions that were popping up around the community. There are a lot of questions, and they'll get answered in time, but I want to start by tackling a few that were frequently asked, ones that we should clarify, and some that we've already answered but should resurface." Let's dive in. So, starting off, addressing the graphics and visuals. So he says, "First, we want to acknowledge that yes, we've heard the feedback coming from parts of the community regarding the visuals in the Halo Infinite campaign demo. While we see and hear far more positive than negative, we do want to share a bit more context. From our perspective, there are two key areas being debated around the community: overall art style and visual fidelity. Based on our learnings from Halo 4, Halo 5, and Halo Wars 2, with strong community feedback, we decided to shift back towards the legacy aesthetics that defined the original trilogy. With Halo Infinite, we're returning to a more classic art style, which was a key message going back to the very first reveal that garnered enthusiastic and positive responses. This translates to a more vibrant palette, quote, cleaner models, and objects with less, quote, noise. Though it doesn't mean less detail. While we appreciate this may not be everyone's personal preference, we stand by this decision and are happy to see it resonating with so many fans around the world." He then goes on to say, "The second theme being discussed involves visual fidelity. Negative feedback in this area includes comments around characters and objects appearing flat, simplistic, and plastic-like, lighting feeling dull and flat, and object pop-in. We've read your comments, we've seen the homemade examples of retouched content, and yes, we've heard the Digital Foundry assessments. In many ways, we are in agreement here. We do have work to do to address some of these areas and raise the level of fidelity and overall presentation for the final game. The build used to run the campaign demo was a work in progress from several weeks ago with a variety of graphical elements and game systems that were still being finished and polished. While some of the feedback was expected and speaks to areas already in progress, other aspects of the feedback have brought new opportunities and considerations to light that the team is taking very seriously and working to assess. We don't have firm answers or outcomes to share yet, but the team is working as quickly as possible on plans to address some of the feedback around detail, clarity, and overall fidelity. The team is committed and focused on making sure we have a beautiful world for players to explore when we launch." All right, so in that first section, there's a lot I want to kind of respond to and talk about. So they hit two key notes there, the art style and the visual fidelity. So regarding that, I really hope 343 doesn't take a lot of the negative feedback they've seen about the visual fidelity as criticisms about the art style, because I really don't think that's the issue here. Maybe there have been some complaints about it, but it's really all stemming from the visual fidelity, and maybe people are confusing that with problems with the art style. Because when I first saw the campaign demo, the first thing I said in my live reaction was, "Wow, this looks clean," in a good way. Like, I saw the assault rifle, and I could recognize that it definitely was cleaner. You know, there was less noise on things. But beyond it looking cleaner, it also did look incredibly flat. You can have a clean engine and a clean art style without things looking so flat. For example, all the cutscenes we've seen, there's a lot of nice detail on all the models you see on Chief or on the pilot. There's a lot of nice detail there that doesn't look noisy at all, and it looks really uniform and really nice. So for me, the biggest criticism was definitely the visual fidelity, and so I'm glad that they're digging their heels in the we're not changing our art style, this is what we're going with. That's a good thing, because really I don't think a lot of the criticism is aimed towards the art style. A vast majority of it is the visual fidelity. So thankfully they're sticking with that, and they acknowledge that that's not the problem. And I'm also really happy about the second part, that they are acknowledging that there are some things that they already know that are work in progress, but they're also looking at the feedback they did receive that they didn't already know, and they're taking a harder look at the graphics and how they should look. Because I feel like with something like a game like this, everyone is so invested in constantly working on it that it's hard to see it from an outside perspective. I totally get that way when I'm editing a video, or if I'm working on music or something. I'll think everything is fine, but it's so important to get outside opinions from people who aren't working on a project and get feedback on it, which is why I'm really happy that people brought some of these issues to attention. So moving on from the graphics, he talks about the question, what about a multiplayer beta/flighting? Not really too much info here. They're not really clear on when they're going to be able to do any sort of public flighting for Infinite, if we even get that at all. Which is unfortunate news. It's pretty clear that they're behind schedule, but I'm remaining hopeful that we have an opportunity to at least test the game and give some sort of feedback before it launches. So next up, he addresses a question about the existing characters in the universe, what's going on with them, which actually I was pretty curious about too, but where it sounds like basically we're going to have to wait to play the game, pretty much. He says, last week we showed a mission that takes place several hours into the campaign. During the conclusion of that small slice, we introduced War Chief Escharum, who defeated the UNSC forces at the ring and is eager for his next challenge. To see what led up to that moment and what comes after, you'll need to play the campaign. Yeah. Rest assured, many of your questions will be answered in time just by playing the game. Yeah, okay, so we're just going to have to play the game to figure all that out. How do you pronounce Escharum was the next question, and he says Escharum. There it is. He says the voice actors that are playing the pilot and Escharum, we've got Nicholas Roy as the pilot and Darren DePaul as the banished War Chief Escharum, which you'll be happy to find out if you're a fan of Apex Legends like I am. Darren DePaul plays Revenant, and Nicholas Roy plays Octane. So that's super cool. I am a big fan of both of those voice actors. It's cool that they're in the game. The next question is, will we get a chance to play that campaign demo? And he says, yes, when the game comes out, you'll be able to play this space and take out the banished anti-aircraft turrets. Next up, are there kill barriers or return to battlefield zones in campaign? This is something I'm really interested in. I love breaking out of maps or just pushing the limits in any game environment I'm in. So he says, since we want to allow players to explore and get creative with their engagements, we've tried to reduce these as much as possible in Halo Infinite. There will always be some exceptions, but usually if you can see it, you should be able to go there. Thank you. Gosh, in the past, 343 has been so aggressive with kill boundaries, I'm sure due to certain hardware limitations, but I can't tell you how happy I am to hear just that mindset going into it, that we want as few of those as possible, you know? So that's exciting. What about split screen and co-op? Campaign will support 2-player split screen and online 4-player co-op. Yes, you can play on your couch with a friend. Awesome news. This is how Halo is supposed to be. Is there a battle rifle in Halo Infinite? Yes. So next up is a bit of a controversial one, and I definitely have an opinion on this. The new MK50 Sidekick and CQS48 Bulldog look cool. Will there be other pistols or shotguns in the game? And he says, we're excited to build on Halo's legacy sandbox while also introducing new components to further evolve and expand the gameplay experiences. The Mark 50 Sidekick and CQS48 Bulldog are brand new weapons that bring something different for players to sink their teeth into. The Sidekick is a true sidearm pistol, I think a bit like the Gunfighter Magnum in Halo 5. The Sidekick is a true sidearm pistol that is lightning fast to draw and fire, truly excelling as a reliable backup when your primary weapon is depleted and a brute is bearing down on you. Compared to previous titles, this weapon is closest to Halo 2's version of the Magnum. The Bulldog is a pump-action shotgun that is punchy and decently accurate, trading slightly lower damage, 12 gauge versus 8 gauge, for a much higher rate of fire. Players will be better equipped to dispatch multiple targets quickly, and the Bulldog provides more playstyle opportunities for shotgun aficionados. There are additional variants of each of these, but the classic Magnum and tactical shotgun aren't currently featured in Halo Infinite. As we look beyond launch, we have robust plans to continue evolving the game, which will include further additions to Halo Infinite's sandbox. We understand some players won't be thrilled over the prospects of different pistols and shotguns, but we encourage you to keep an open mind, and we look forward to everyone getting their hands-on perspective with these new weapons when the time comes. Such a weird decision, dude. See, in my other video, I really thought it was an IGN goof that the shotgun was replacing the classic Halo shotgun, but apparently it's not. I totally get like the argument, like, yes, they've done this in the past with different Halo games, introduced new weapons that are functionally different, but I guess it's just so odd to me, considering this game, which is being regarded as a spiritual reboot of the franchise and a return to the classic look and feel of Halo, yet arbitrarily there are just a couple classic weapons that are not in the game, replaced with a completely basic looking pistol and a generic looking shotgun. I don't think people would be nearly as upset about this if the designs were somewhat original or interesting or Halo feeling. Like, the sidekick is literally just a basic looking pistol from any game ever, and the shotgun, like, it looks all right, but there's no lights on it. I saw a retouch on Twitter that they put lights on it, and it just looks it looks like the Halo shotgun. Like, just put some accents on it or something. It's just so odd. I totally get expanding the sandbox and wanting gameplay variety, but why not have both of those, you know? Why not have a shotgun like the Bulldog that sacrifices damage for rate of fire, and then also have the tactical shotgun that's damage over rate of fire? I don't know. Weird decision. I'm sure they'll return in the future because this game is meant to be evolved over time. I'm sure we'll see the classic Halo Magnum and everything. It's just an odd decision that I don't really fully understand, but that's not a big deal. I'm excited regardless. It's fine. So, how will the new grapple hook work in multiplayer? Equipment items like the grapple shot function differently in multiplayer and will be available as items that can be picked up on the map. We already knew this, just reiterating it. Awesome stuff. I'm really happy about that. So next up, we've heard 4K 60 FPS. Is that the best you can do even for PC? And he says, to clarify, up to 4K 60 FPS is our target for the expansive campaign experience on Xbox Series X. As PC players expect, there will be plenty of settings that you can tweak to create the experience you want, and we'll have more details on that in the coming months. I have full confidence that the PC version of Halo Infinite is going to be extremely robust in settings, considering they designed their engine and designed the game around having a PC version at launch. You know, it's built for PC just as it's built for Xbox. It's not adapted later. And then a question about, is Halo Infinite really coming to Steam? The answer is yes, it's coming to Steam and on PC via Xbox Game Pass for PC, in addition to the Xbox Series X and all the other Xboxes. So, will difficulty settings such as easy, normal, heroic, and legendary still exist? The answer is also yes. You choose your difficulty in the main menu before beginning your adventure. So, a question about the music, just introducing the new composer, Gareth Coker, linking to an awesome new song we're seeing in Halo Infinite, Set a Fire in Your Heart. I absolutely love this. This song really feels like the Banished and Master Chief are almost like battling it out within a song. It's so interesting. Like, it cycles between like a sinister Banished theme and like the Master Chief theme back and forth, and it's so good. I love it. So what about multiplayer, Forge, theater, ranking system, esports, and everything else? And he says, last week we wanted to solely focus on campaign, and we'll touch on all other aspects of our game in the coming months, though we have already confirmed the return of a new and improved Forge with some very exciting plans for the next era of Halo esports in our What's Next for HCS blog. And of course, a very important question, how is Craig? And he said, we've all laughed very hard at the non-stop stream of Craig memes the community is cranking out. Craig is thick-skinned and seems to be taking it in stride, though all of this fame and attention seems to be going to his head. Dude, Craig memes are the best. Guys, let me know in the comment section below if you want me to make a video just like archiving all the Craig memes that I can find, basically. I kind of want to make one and react to all of them, because gosh, there's so many and they're so good. Let me know in the comments if you want to see that. So to wrap up, they say, we'll get to more questions later. Hold tight, we'll get through this together. And then has a list of a bunch of other confirmed aspects about Halo Infinite, so I'll just list those off really quickly. In-universe timing, it follows Master Chief's story sometime after the Halo 5 Guardians conclusion. Pro team, we've assembled an internal pro team for Halo Infinite. Split screen, yes, split screen is a thing. LAN, Halo Infinite will support LAN. Hopefully it's real LAN. Black undersuits will be in the game. Yes. Microtransactions, Halo Infinite will not include real money loot boxes. Player customization. If you like the level of armor customization options in Halo Reach, you will be pleased. Yes, I loved that, and I can't wait to be pleased. SR-152. Players who hit SR-152 in Halo 5 Guardians will receive a token of appreciation in Halo Infinite. I am not in that 152 club, dude. You see, while everyone was on that 152 grind, I took a break from YouTube and like did some studying abroad, and I was gone for like a year and a half. So I'm like a year and a half behind on that XP grind. I'm only 148, I think almost 149, and I've got so much XP to go to get to 152. So I'm thinking about doing some XP grind streams or something like that over on my Twitch. We'll see. I don't even know if it's physically possible for me to reach that rank before Halo Infinite. I don't think it is. I think it would take way longer, but I don't know. Maybe I'll do that in the future. And last but not least, Forge. Our famous editing tool will be in Halo Infinite, and we will have undo and redo buttons, which is a first for Forge. Oh my god, that is so exciting. Super excited for that. Undo and redo buttons sound awesome. Hell yeah. So there's a bunch more stuff about Halo 3 in general, updates to the MCC in this community update, as well as some community videos and stuff like that. So definitely check that out. I'll leave a link to it in the description, but I really just wanted to hit on the Infinite news in this video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Definitely check out the community update below. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. Halo Infinite going free to play, multiplayer, the classic shotgun and Magnum not being in the game, at least at launch. What do you think of that? All that good stuff. Let me know. If you're new to the channel, again, definitely subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. We're going to be doing a ton of Halo Infinite content leading up to the game and post-launch. We're going all in for this. I hope you guys will come along with me for the ride. So thank you so much for watching as always, and I'll see you guys next time. I'll see you.